Hi there, I hope you're all well and enjoying your summer. This is just a follow-up message from my previous update that you were sent back in June, and I hope in this particular update I can give you a little bit more information that I hope helps you make your decisions around module choices. Much has stayed the same, but the key thing in today's update is the additional information around assessments, as we recognise the type of assessment within the module is somewhat useful for students when they make their decisions. In terms of a lot of the information that I presented last time, I don't want to really duplicate that, and so what I've done is included some of the key information here just for ease, but please do refer to my previous update if you're looking for further information on each of the modules. In terms of the setup, as you can see here, the module format has slightly changed from previous years, such that each module is spanning both semesters to give us the best opportunity to engage you with the practicals, workshops and lecture material. When it comes to making those decisions, there's a few things that you might want to consider, and one is the influence of prerequisites. So your decisions, your module decision in second year will actually influence the modules that are available to you in third year. We call those prerequisites, and I've just highlighted them here, and we can discuss them in the next slide. In the SR253, SR258 and SR260 are prerequisites for third year modules, so do bear that in mind when you're making your decisions. Obviously we would hope that the modules that you enjoy and that you would potentially like to continue to pursue after your degree program is a factor in your decision making processes. That's often what happens or what is looked at by employers further down the line, just to see the skill sets that you have beyond the overall degree. In terms of those prerequisites that I mentioned before, here we can see SR258, which is a biomechanics module in second year, is a prerequisite for the sports biomechanics module in third year. SR253 is exercise physiology in second year, which is a prerequisite for sport and exercise physiology in third year. And SR260, which is the second year psychology module, is a prerequisite for SR326, the applied sports psychology module in final year. So those are hopefully important things for you to bear in mind. The new information that I wanted to share with you today is really the assessments on each of those second year modules that you're about to choose. I thought this information would be useful to know in terms of confirming what was in the handbooks previously, and any slight refinements or changes that have been made or that we plan on making, just so you're fully informed with your decision making. The good news is for the majority of modules they do remain unchanged, and with one slight amendment to SR252, which is the employability module, which still remains 100% coursework but has a slightly different makeup of the component parts, which we hope it improves that module and speaks to student feedback that we've gained over the previous years. So when you look at this slide here, I've tried to break it down a little bit into three sections. The first is obviously the module code and the module title, but the three types of assessments I try to sort of group under coursework, oral presentation and exams, just because they are maybe the key determinants of your decision making, and just hopefully enable you to see how some of the assessments on some modules can speak to the others. When it comes to coursework, for example, the first column is trying to get you to think about more lab reports or some of the techniques that you might encounter in lab reports. So with research methods, for example, we have a statistical tests, a little bit of a report itself, and a research proposal which fits under that umbrella of coursework, and that module is 100% coursework. In terms of SR252, we have some different or less familiar assignments here that are still, we would consider coursework based, but are getting you to think about things slightly differently, whether that's the employability skills aspect with some of the specific work from the employability team and some reflections, as well as an industry proposal which is relevant to sports science. So a slightly different assessment format, but hopefully something that we can guide you through and is useful beyond university. And then we have an oral presentation accompanied in that assignment in that particular module. SR253 is assessed via coursework and exam, and so that coursework component is requires you to complete 2 abstracts and then a normal exam at the end of that process. SR258 is the Biomechanics Module, and that module is predominantly exam based. There's the traditional exam that you're maybe more familiar with, as well as some in-class tests which are typically held under similar conditions. Obviously these tests may be online rather than in class, but that's dependent on the global situation. SR260 has a split between an essay and an exam. SR255 is 100% coursework, and that's assessed via one particular component, one essay. And then we have SR256, which is split between an oral presentation and an exam. Ethics and Anti-Doping has an ethical analysis, which is very similar to essay style, and then is followed up by an exam with a higher weighting component. SR257 kinetopometry has a portfolio-based skills, or a skills portfolio that you will be developing throughout the course of that module, and again is a slightly less familiar method of assessment, but something that the module leaders will guide you through as you start to accumulate that evidence and skills, and also that's accompanied by an in-class test. SR254 Technology and Innovation in Injury Mechanics has an innovation assignment, as well as some in-class or online tests and a more traditional exam. Human Nutrition has a case study which may be slightly unusual in terms of its title, but effectively this is where you're presented with some real data obtained from a diet in this particular case, and it gets you to apply the knowledge you pick up in that particular module to that particular data set. You also have a series of online quizzes that can be completed during that particular module. And lastly, SR261 has an essay and oral presentation, as well as a reflection of that presentation as part of the assessment diet. So hopefully you can see how those are split. As I say, the main purpose of today is to guide you through those 3 separate umbrella terms of coursework, presentation and an exam, and then more information around those specific assessments can be found in the handbook or will be presented to you by the module leaders when it comes to the start of term. But I hope that's useful in guiding your decision making. Lastly, just as a reminder, the deadline to make these decisions for module selections is the 31st of July, and this can be completed via your student record. Please do go on and give that a go. If you experience any problems, do let us know, and hopefully we'll be able to assist you between now and then in making those decisions. That's it from me, so enjoy the rest of your summer and hope to see you in the new year.